Alright, welcome back to another foot patrol. Today we are located in Woody Point. Right behind us is the tidal development, which is on the site of the old Palace, Filmer's Palace Hotel, right on the tip of Woody Point. And today we're going to go down and have a look at the Gayundah wreck. So we're on Gayundah Esplanade at the moment. I'll show you that street sign when we get across the road. There it is there. That's the spelling. And it's apparently the Aboriginal word for lightning. Hello! And this is Lilla Street, Woody Point, which leads down to, among other things, the Belvedere Hotel and all that sort of thing. Pretty nice view up here. Bit of information about the Gayundah here, which you can pause if you want to watch. But anyway, there it is down there. I'll just move a little bit so I can see it clearly. That's the wreck down there. Zoom in a bit so you can see it. And we're going to try and get down there. Don't know how far I'll be able to get, but we'll see. And have a look around. And in the distance there you've got various parts of Brisbane. Looking south, Brisbane Airport and Seaport, Port of Brisbane over on this side. You can't see it all that well because it is a pretty miserable old day weather-wise. Anyway, let's go and have a look. Pretty quiet down here. Nice part of the Redcliffe Peninsula. And we might take a shortcut down the grass embankment here. Council spent a whole lot of money rebuilding this area after a issue with homeless moved in and caused a lot of damage to the Arboretum, I think is the right name, at Woody Point. Looks like it's reopened now, and we might take a swing through there some point and have a look. Pretty nice spot down here, very quiet, and you can see out in the distance out here, I don't know how well it'll be visible on the camera, but that's the airport, Seaport, Port of Brisbane. Can't see Moreton, it's all hazy today. There's a city over there, just there. Zoom back out rather, and let's go and see if we can see this wreck. We'll try and tell you a bit about it. There's actually more left of it than I remember. Doesn't look like you can climb down to it now. They've fenced it all off. But we might be able to walk along the rock wall here. See if we can get along. And there it is there. So this is the wreck of the Gayundah, and it has been here for almost 70 years, this particular wreck. And I do have a bit of information about it, which did do a bit of research for this one. I already knew a little bit about it. I knew it was one of Queensland's naval boats. And that it had worked the Brisbane River. But it was part of the Queensland Maritime Defence Force, so before Australia was federated, so prior to 1901, there was no such thing as the Australian Defence Force or the Royal Australian Navy, and they were worried about Russian influence in the Pacific. at that point, so they decided to arm up effectively and bought this boat, or commissioned this boat actually. They got it brand new, and 2 other boats. Another one called the Paluma, Paluma, and then another one called the Mosquito. The Paluma and this one were gunboats, and the Mosquito was another type of boat. So the Maritime Defence Force started in 1883, and they ordered this boat in 1884, and it was made in the UK, built in the UK, and made its way to Brisbane, arriving in Brisbane in 1885. And in terms of its size, it's pretty big. Pretty big from here anyway. Not much left of it now though. But just go through those statistics that I've got. So 360 tonnes, 37 metres long. It doesn't look that long from here, but I am looking at it front on. Had 2 steam engines totaling 298 kilowatts, which sounds like a lot, but you can get more than that in the motor vehicle now. So cruising speed of 20 kilometres per hour. Not sure what that is in knots or whatever the maritime measure is, and a range of 1100 to 1300 kilometres. So I suppose it could get just about to Sydney on coal. I'm guessing it would have had coal if it was steamer or some other form of fuel. It wouldn't have been diesel though, if it was unlikely. Had 4 guns on board, and it was refitted at various points with other guns. And I'll tell you another fact about where one of those guns is. Another piece of this still in Australia, still exists, and 55 crew on board. It's pretty small, looks pretty small for 55 people, but I'm guessing they were pretty efficient. It was used as a training ship, and ultimately transferred to the newly formed Commonwealth Naval Forces, which then became the Royal Australian Navy a bit later on. Transferred to the Commonwealth Naval Service along with the Paluma in 1901, and in 1903 it did something historic. It was the first ship to transmit a radio message from ship to shore, and its aerial was a bamboo pole, big bamboo pole, lashed to its mast, which is really ironic because there's bamboo right here. This is bamboo. It's a bit freaky or coincidental. March 1911, it was converted to, so it started as HMQS, so it would have been Her Majesty or His Majesty's Queensland ship, and it became Her Majesty or His Majesty's Australian ship Gayundah. 1918 decommissioned, so decommissioned from naval service in 1918, so it served 30 years, a bit over 30 years. And in 1921 it was sold to a company that transported gravel and sand on the Brisbane River. So I'm sure there was from memory, a quarry or something on the Brisbane upper parts of the Brisbane River, and used to transport that product. 1930 it sank, but it was quickly recovered shortly thereafter, and it was used up until the 1950s for various things, and then ultimately 1958 it was taken to the wharf at Bulimba and stripped. Now, just to show you where we are, we're right under the flight path for Brisbane Airport. We've got a aircraft here on its way out. Looks like a Qantas Dash 8. Anyway, back to where we were. Yeah, so strip 1958, taken to the Bulimba Wharf and strip, so I'm assuming stripped of things that were of use, of value. And then in 1958, sold to the Redcliffe Town Council, and it's basically been here ever since as a breakwater, and I'm assuming it's to prevent erosion on this, or either prevent or reduce erosion on this part of Woody Point. It wouldn't have much, wouldn't take much for it to erode these in rough weather, and then you have a serious problem. It's been here. We might do a walk back up. We'll do a walk back up, and I'll tell you about what's gone on with it over the past few years, and then we'll just have a look at it from up on the higher, be able to see it from above. So there has been a campaign at various points in time to try and quote unquote save the wreck. So there it is, a little bit more from the side. So there has been, various fundraising and advocacy to try and preserve it. And I know there's been just pause for a sec. Just talking to some locals. There's been some advocacy and effort to try and preserve it, or stop it washing away, for about the last 20 years that I know of, and I think it's pretty much come to nothing because it's almost gone anyway. And I think the second reason is because of the cost. You'd have to be stripping it back and coating it, or in some way preserving it. Okay. And I don't know how you would do that. Be a big challenge. I think another reason too is because the part of the wreck, one of the guns from it, is at the Australian War Memorial. So there is a part of it. That's it from above. A bit of a zoom in. Part of it is already preserved. At the Australian War Memorial in Canberra. Okay, we'll walk around and see if we can get a side view of it. And I know that there has been signage put up, including this sign here, keep out, and various educational resources at various times discouraging people from trying to climb the wreck, because it's unstable and it might collapse. That's what they're worried, and someone will get injured. See if I can give you a bit more of a view. There it is there. So I'm not sure what they're gonna, if there's any plans in the future to maintain any further parts of it, or use any materials from it, take some pieces of it and put it somewhere, but at the moment she's looking pretty sad. Anyway, that's the Gayundah wreck, located here in Woody Point. So it's in Lilla Street, Lilla, or it's on the end of Gayundah, Gayundah, Esplanade in Woody Point. So when you come off the end of the bridges coming to Redcliffe, you're wanting to veer right along the waterfront and you'll see the Gayundah. Anyway, that's a bit about the Gayundah. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. If you know anything that I got wrong, or you have any further information or connection to it, please let us know. It'll be nice to find out something new. Okay, bye for now.